Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, first of all, mic check, mic check. Put a one in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. If you can hear the sound of my voice, put a one in the chat. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. But I gotta make sure you guys can hear me. I gotta make sure you guys can hear me. So put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat. You know what the rules are. You know what the rules are when you come here. You are my audio engineers. With that said, good afternoon. I don't know where you are in the world, but we got to talk about this interesting exchange from two radio personalities that exploded in the last 24 hours on the internet. And I watched both of the videos. Thank you for the sound check. Thank you for the sound check. So I watched the exchange between Jess, a comedian, and Loren LoRosa, a reporter that is part of the Breakfast Club. And I have my own take on what I saw. And I also saw what was posted previously by Jess before it ended up on the Breakfast Club. And I got to first and foremost, for those who hadn't seen the exchange, I'm going to play the exchange, then I want to talk about it. Because there's several moving parts here that I had to point out that many of you that are not in the media space may not understand. But before we do that, we're going to play the video. So this happened this morning. This was this morning on the Breakfast Club. Let's just watch the exchange between Loren and Jess Hilarious. Let's go. So before I continue playing it, what doesn't look good for me is that these two black women are going head to head on this popular show. I was wondering, why was this even being discussed in the forefront of everyone? And one of the things I kind of considered was that Jess Hilarious did a video on her page essentially calling out the Breakfast Club and the respect that she believes she should have received by her colleagues on the show. But here's the problem. If you're still there on the show and you're trying to put the Charlemagne on blast, because when I say she put him on blast, she revealed that he had texted her to tell Loren to shut up. So why would you even share that with the public? I don't know if that made sense to do that to the world, say it to the world. But the fact of the matter, you did tell it to shut up. And if it was a directive given by Charlemagne, should you have revealed that? So are you trying to burn the house down now? Are you just, because then you start hitting some sore spots by bringing in Angela Yee and mentioning, essentially that Angela Lee kind of warned you or warned the public. So I don't know if her time on the show is limited now, because you are in a corporate structure. It's still a corporation. And Loren is a part of the show now. She brings something different to the show that Jess Hilarious doesn't bring to the show. And she brings a news element to the show that was lacking. As you can see from her reporting on different stories that are hitting the news cycle. Loren's also an alumni of TMZ. She was a news producer for TMZ as well. So it would only make sense that she would have a news producer position at the Breakfast Club. And that's her lane. And if they decided they wanted to have that element to the show, which I personally believe they needed, then that's her position. That's the role she plays on the show. Now, even if Loren loaned her seat to, even if Jess loaned her seat to Loren while she was out on maternity, and that's okay. They decided to bring you both back. They didn't say, hey, listen, we don't need you anymore. You're fired. They brought you both back. They brought her back, Jess Hilarious, and they just trying to make sure everyone has a spot on the show. Now, you come from, I say you, I'm talking to you, Jess. You come from a comedian background. Loren comes from a news background. You don't do the same. So I understand the necessity of having someone from news and someone from comedy that is an entertainer. Now, her exploding on the internet and just putting out the dirty laundry on the internet when she got to go back and sit with this woman, it's kind of crazy to me. Like, what are you doing? But let's listen. Let's further listen. Let's listen to what she has to say. Well, hold on, Charlamagne. Hold on. I just said back in the day, hold on a cotton picking minute. Now, you were bringing the mess when you sent her that text message telling her to telling Jess to tell Loren to shut up. You knew that was going to get picked up. Listen, come on, Charlamagne. You know what you were doing. And the internet is why the show is relevant. So don't blame it on the comments in it, because you know how this game is played. Now, to Loren's point, you can't tell another grown woman to shut up when you're our colleagues on the show. It's not like you're talking to some random. You both are on the show to achieve a goal, and that's to get the viewership high and get the audience engaged and to entertain the people. So I agree with Loren. You disrespected her on TV. Excuse me, on TV. Well, if you're watching the show on TV, or you can be watching your computer or your phone, but you disrespected the woman in a public setting, and she had the right to get it resolved in a public setting. It was probably cringeworthy. I didn't hear in real time when she said that, but apparently it's been said a few times. And I think that's why Loren decided to pull her to the side and saying, like, hey, you're disrespecting me. And she also said that she had to bring in a witness to witness the exchange. Now, when that happens in corporate America, that's called CYA, cover your ass. So someone can't come back later on and say, hey, I didn't say this. I never said this. Where are you getting this from? Where did you hear this from? But she did what she was taught to do. And I will say this about Loren. Loren has worked in an environment where there are seasoned news people in the room. And she understands that she has to give input in a show that involves others, like she does on TMZ when she was doing her TMZ. So I see nothing wrong with Loren did. Nothing, zero wrong with what she did. And if someone says, hey, you can sit in my seat until I come back, well, that may have been the initial understanding, but The people that are above both Loren and Jess Hilarious decided otherwise. They look at who's bringing the numbers, who's drawing the audience, who is a good fit for the show. Now, the question is, will there be two women in that show, or will there be one woman in that show? Because initially it was Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Angela Yee. But are they trying to keep four women on the show? Do they really need four women on the show? I mean, excuse me, four people on the show. Do they really need four people on the show? Or they can just do it with three people? And that's going to be the test. But I think that just going public and going, let's just say, off the ranch with her ranting against the show may shoot her, bite in the ass later on. It may, because these are the things that should have been discussed offline. And as Loren said, she has said when she got to the show, if we have any issues, let's discuss it. But that didn't happen that way. And then you had someone like a DJ Academics and and the other comedian, Corey Holcomb, that was kind of agitating the situation. And I think just fell into that trap. And as such, she started, obviously putting the show on blast. Let's see what else she has to say. Stop it, Charlamagne. Stop the cap. You be pitting them against each other. I know what it is. It's good for TV. It's good for television. It's good for television. And I think it's disrespectful, again, calling Loren shorty is kind of diminishing her worth. She's not a shorty. She's a colleague and she's a news producer. And from the looks of it, she's your producer now. So she's not shorty. Put some respect on her name. I mean, I just seen last week where Gary Owens tried to play Loren as well. You're talking about, I don't know who she was. She was saying certain things. You know who the heck she is. You watched TMZ. You seen her on TMZ. When you made that video, you knew who she was then. So stop playing with the woman. She's there to do a job. And I think it would be stupid for the show to not keep her there because she brings something significant to the show that didn't exist, even with Angela Yee. And shout out to Angela Yee, because she's spoken about me on her show. But I'm just saying that if you have someone that actually does news and understands how to research a story, and she knows how to research a story because, again, she was with TMZ, and they have some of the best reporters and news researchers there. So playing in her face, it's not the smartest thing because they're not going to let both of you be on the same show if there's tension. And I think there is tension. Can this be repaired? I don't know. We have to see. But I didn't get that feeling just listening to what Loren and what Jess had to say about Loren. But let's listen to the last part of what she had to say. Stop it, Charlamagne. Let the woman get what she has to get off her chest. She needs to get it off her chest because just like Jess Hilarious said, she didn't feel someone came to her aid when Corey and Academics was crapping on her. So, Charlamagne, you gotta let the woman talk. You gotta let them talk. They have something on their chest, and they want to clear it in the air because it cleared out there. It happened on the internet. Let them straighten out their differences where it started. If it started on the internet, let them straighten it out. But the best approach, in my opinion, probably should have been, hey, listen, let's talk. But Jess put it out there first. Jess Hilarious put it out there, and many people wouldn't have really knew there was an issue had Jess not put it out there. And she wanted the show to defend what Corey said. She should have had that conversation and say, hey, listen, you see what this comedian is saying about me and Academics? Can we make this a part of the show? Let's make this a segment just to kind of address it. Well, she felt they didn't look out for her. Still, it was no time to put it on the internet and make it appear that you weren't a team player on the Breakfast Club. Because that's why I got you weren't being a team player on the Breakfast Club where you had to air them out on your platform. So I don't know. Maybe some people have felt that this was the way to do it. I mean, that's the internet. I know people say this is ridiculous, but let's listen to the last part. Let's just listen to the last part. Wait. You're my talent. Why did they listen? Why did they cut it right there? You're my talent. You're my talent. I'm your producer. It's not wrong with that. It's not no wrong. I know. I don't know why they cut it there. I don't know why they cut it there. But again, I didn't cut it. But if she's the talent, and Loren, I guess Loren is the talent as well because she's a personality on the show. So they're both talent, but one may be aiding in the production of the different news stories that come out there. With that said, I think this could have been resolved differently. Hopefully, it is resolved better moving forward. What I hate to see is two women trying to rise up in this media game, being pitted against each other. I think that's the biggest issue for me, to see it play out in the public, where you don't see this happen on other shows that with people that don't look like us. They're not really fighting like that. And I just think that's just so petty. We need to get away from that. I think we need to get away from that. I think it's more about helping each other grow in this game because we're only a small percentage of the bigger picture. We are, like for example, I look at someone like a Lovely T who has her brand. I look at someone like a good example would be Shannon Sharp. Well, they own a brand. They don't have to dance to the beat of the corporation because they are the head of their brands. And this wouldn't have happened on a brand. So unless either one of them are prepared to go independent and if they're ready to go on their own, that's fine. But I don't think that's the case here. I think they want to try to work together, but is that show big enough for two women? Is it big enough for both of them? That's going to be the biggest test. We're going to be watching. People are now going to be honed in on the show when both of them show up to work. They both got to show up to work. There can't be we saw what happened towards the end of Angela Yee's time on the show. It was starting to become uncomfortable. And we don't want to see that here. So if they can figure it out, great. I wish them both much success. And Charlamagne, stop trying to pit the women against each other. You know what you did. You know what you did. Okay, let me read some comments here. Okay, I'm gonna read some comments, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to read some comments. See what I say. Okay, so the Golden Lounge said, let me go ahead and highlight this. She says, my perception is that Loren, and it's Loren LOREN. Loren performs Jess, hilarious, duties more effectively than Jess herself. Loren possesses a higher level of professionalism. Well, the question is, for me, what is Jess' duties and what is Loren's duties? If Loren's performing her duties as was assigned to her based on her contract, then she's doing what she's supposed to do. And what if Jess Hilarious' duties is to, keep people laughing, bring that comedic element to the show? Because if she doesn't have a background in media, news and media, then what is her role on the show? We know DJ Envy's role. We know Charlamagne's role. We know what Loren's role is. We need to know what Jess's role is. And has that been clearly defined? Did she come on the show thinking that she was going to be reporting the news? Because if she was brought on the show to report the news, and you bring someone like a Loren LoRosa, who is a former news producer, Loren's going to negotiate a contract. I came from TMZ as a news producer, and I want to be a news producer here. Why would she take a step back in her career? She has to make sure she negotiates her contract to keep that title or executive producer. So, well, not executive, but a news producer, and she did that. And that's I think that uh, I don't know how Jess negotiated a contract. Let's see who else I want to read. Charlie said, "Is Big Messy again?" Well, hold on a second. Yeah, okay. You about to get the Renee? Get your butt up out of here. Hold on. Lauren handled professionally. I agree. Right. Edith Campus said, Lauren needs to understand this is work and she's an employee. Agreed. Can you can you guys go to work, then go home, go to work, then come back home and talk about your boss and not have any repercussions, or talk about the people in your job? Do you think the work environment is going to be the same? I get it. I totally get it. Okay, so Renee said Corey called her out and she crashed out online. Yeah, that does appear to be the case. She crashed out. No one came to help her, defend her. I guess no one wanted to smoke. I guess no one wanted to smoke. Let's see. Okay, so Edith says they can both coexist in the same show. Jess is taking this miscommunication public. This could have had in private and squash it. And that's why I said it could have been done in private. They could have did it in private and squash it. And they could have talked about it. You know, how do we deal with something like this, you know, when it relates to one of the talent on the show? That could be Envy, Charlemagne, Lauren, or Jess. How do we deal with something like this? Do we create a segment just to address this, or we just ignore it? Because sometimes when you talk about an issue that is stemming from online, then it can grow and get bigger, and then more people are talking about, like they're doing today, like they're talking about what happened in the segment today. So if they didn't mention it, most people want to talk about it. So will this affect someone standing on the show? People are reading the room. They're gonna, you know, I see people now getting on different posts saying, "Oh, I like Lauren better. I like Jess better." Why don't you just do a darn poll? How about that? So okay. Let's see here. Hold on. So Kia Elder 305 says, Jess believed once she came back from maternity leave that Lauren would be gone. That didn't happen, and Jess feels like they are phasing her out. Well, the question is, are they really trying to phase her out? I think the fact that this was discussed on the show today, I think that may be the case. And I think Jess didn't get the memo. The fact that this played out today was troubling. I think that this might be, she might be on probation. You know how you mess up and they put you on probation? She might be on probation. She don't even know it. She might be on probation that she's the only one that didn't know she's on probation. So who knows? Who knows? And I agree with what Saya Who's. I can't work in an environment where you're always waiting for the internet blast on Mad Day. What does that mean? What does that mean? The internet blast on Mad Day. What is Mad Day? Is that on a Monday? Is that Tuesday? Is that Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday? What day is Mad Day? I want to know when is Mad Day. I don't know when Mad Day is. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. I would feel like, if that was me, I would feel like, yeah, you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision, because she done played herself, and I don't know if I can work with her. I don't know if I can even leave my food around her. I don't know what she got planned. They say, "What? Listen, when it says it's all love, it didn't look like love today. It's all love. I don't know. We don't know if it's all love. We'll see. Whenever they say it's all love, or on everything I love, I'm like, I'm watching you. I'm giving you the side eye now. I'm giving you the side eye, Because I don't know if you really mean that. Because if you really mean it, you wouldn't be saying anything. Well, we have to see, ladies and gentlemen, if these beautiful queens are able to work through this. They're going to be watching the chemistry. And Loren's not going to stop talking. She's not going to fold her hands and just wait until the other person finished talking. And she needs to insert herself in the conversation that she's a part of. She's going to do that. But I get it. People want to be able to get their thoughts out, and they want to make sure everyone can hear what they have to say. And they don't want to have to fight for the mic. As Jess said, I had to fight for the mic. I don't want to feel like I had to fight for the mic. They brought me in. They hired me first. They had they had a few people. They had a few people that they could have brought on the show. You saw they had different co-hosts on it, but before they settled with Jess Hilarious. But this is a little unsettling because you kind of didn't show team effort by putting your other team members on blast. And we just got to see how this plays out. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys on the next live. I appreciate you coming in. I really do. Peace.